Now, as an MC and a lyricist, when you look at hip hop today, and you look at certain groups that basically are popular because not really because of their lyrics, but because of they have a new style. You know what I mean? Like, you look at a lot of Southern rappers, like a lot of the trap type rappers who, you know what I mean? It doesn't make you go, wow. Like I remember one of the things that I think KRS-One said that a lyricist is supposed to make you say, wow, I would have never thought to
To
say
say that,
that, to
right?
put,
Or I wish I would have
yeah,
said
I
that.
wish I would have known, thought to put those types of words together and make that fit and so forth. Now, you know, you have a lot of groups, and I'm not going to put any groups, in the line,
Just say any.
yeah,
That pretty much goes for all of them, right?
it goes for a lot of them. When you see that, and you know, they get popular, they do a lot of shows, they sell albums or singles or whatever. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm happy for them. You know what I mean? It's all good. Anytime black man, get out of his situation and improves it, I'm good with it. I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? Now, as far as putting them in a category with lyricists or like true hip hop people, nah, that they're a different breed of people. They're a different generation. They do a different thing. They have a different agenda. You know what I mean? And their influences come from different places. So I'm not mad at them. You know what I mean? Just don't say they me.
Sure.
Or they're Melly Mel, or they're, you know what I mean? Because they come from a whole other thing. And as far as that mic is concerned, they don't do nothing close to what we used to do or continue to do.
Did you see a time in hip hop when it went away from lyrics and into just styles?
Sure, sure,
Was,
sure,
was
yeah.
there a can you maybe name a particular artist or song or whatever where you just saw a little bit of that shift?
I mean, there's constantly a shift. Every other few years, there's a shift in music and styles and trends. Planet Rock made a big shift in music back in '82 when it was all party orientated and kind of copying songs that were popular. It created a whole new genre. And like you said, all that music that came afterwards all was under that same vein, that sound, that electro
same beat
kind of
almost.
sound,
Yeah.
beat, exactly. Then when you got back to the mid '80s, you for hip hop get back to lyricism with KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane and Cool G Rap and guys like that, started coming to the forefront. As that golden era started to, happen, 85 to 90, 91, you had a little more rounded picture of hip hop. You had so many different kinds of hip hop. You could have really appreciated it as an entire culture. All right, everybody wasn't lyrical, but you had cats that everybody was lyrical, but they were lyrical in different ways. You had cats that were funny and lyrical, like Biz Markie, okay? You had cats that followed in the tradition of myself and Melly Mel, like Big Daddy Kane and Cool G Rap, all right? You had your Special Eds, you had your Kwame's, you had your Chubb Rocks, you had the ladies, okay? MC Light, Queen Latifah, all of them guys, you know what I mean? And then you had a conscious kind of hip hop as well. You had Poor Righteous Teachers, KRS-One, PE was getting ready to come into the fray, you know what I mean? So hip hop was a lot more conscious during that time. So not only did you have lyrical, like you had a certain quality that hip hop had taken on during the mid 80s to the 90s, which was cool because every group kind of fit in. Everybody was part of that. Nobody was like sucked and was just there. I mean, everybody had made a contribution. And then, of course, the 90s came in and there was too much consciousness going on in hip hop at that time for the powers that be. So here comes gangster rap. All right. Take off the medallions, you know what I mean? Stop all that peace and unity and let's do some hoes and cocaine and gang banging.
Did that bother you?
Yes, it did.
Really?
Yes, it did. Just the same way as at a time, if you were a conscious rapper, you couldn't even get a record deal anymore because hip hop wasn't going that way no more. Okay. And that's directly from that gangster rap era, that gangster rap mentality, and the people who were in charge of hip hop at that time. They totally deaded the cultural side of hip hop. I mean, everything De La Soul, done. Tribe Called Quest, done. I mean, all that, done. I mean, yeah, it's still stuck around, it permeated, but they changed the whole landscape of the entire music.
So, what did you think of N.W.A?
N.W.A, I thought they were great for what they were doing, but I thought they was a definite detriment to our people, the message they were giving out. You know what I mean? The music was groundbreaking and extraordinary, amazing. You know what I mean? But I wasn't. And I was out there at the time. I know them, I'm familiar with them. We had a club out in LA, Zulu Nation had a club, West Coast, Eazy-E's to come in, Ice Cube, all them cats used to be around. And then we all cool, it's all peace and love. But I'm saying, it's not even the artists so much, it's the music industry itself that kind of drove that ship. And they just recruited people to do what they needed to do.
Couldn't you technically say that, you know, BDP's Criminal Minded was the first gangster rap album?
Nah.
I mean, you know, they on the cover with guns.
Yes, but in defense, he's in the cover like Malcolm.
No, that's the next album though.
Okay, yeah, but even the first one, and even Pete, well, let's stay on KRS-One. KRS was always talking. First of all, I mean, his first conversation was Bronx Street, like, you know, do the wrong thing, you getting beat up.
I mean, you know, my 9mm go bang.
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
You know, he was talking that gun talk.
But he wasn't. It was a different conversation than I'm gonna shoot you in your face. It was a different conversation than I got 5 bad kilos of this and that and this and that. And any nigga, I'm shooting your kneecaps off. I'm shooting your daughter in the calf muscle and shit like that. It wasn't that kind of conversation. Right. It was like, hey, I'm good too. I'm strapped too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got yours, I got mine too. Ain't nobody running over nobody here.
Right.
That was his conversation. But later on it became, yo, I'm gonna shoot this nigga and kill police and all that. It wasn't that extreme.
So that bothered you?
Okay, yeah, that bothered me, definitely. I knew it wasn't good for hip hop. Yeah. You know what I mean? It might be good for rap music. You know, crack was out back then and they were trying to sell more crack. So they used the music industry to help do that too and to permeate that throughout our society and our culture.